Now, let's talk about this travesty. So what the heck happened to Meta, or Facebook, for those of you who have yet to come around to their new name? Yesterday, the S&P 500 is actually up 2.45%, the Nasdaq is up 2.54%, but Meta is down 4%. What the heck? If we were to observe the entire heat map of the index, one strikingly stands out, and it is of course our good friend Meta. Disclaimer, at the time of this recording, I do have a small position in Meta, so my views would probably be biased. Also, my friend jokingly texted me today, "Look, whatever companies that I touch, they all have the same plight as Alibaba." Of course, touching wood, let's hope Meta doesn't end up the same way. So my second largest individual holding happens to be Meta stock, right after Alibaba. So I guess my hands are essentially cursed. Watch out, Amazon might be next actually. So funny thing, I've actually released a write-up on Meta platforms on my Substack just a few days back during the weekends. And right when the markets opened on Tuesday, Meta essentially took a nosedive. So I think many of you guys should start an inverse cheeking ETF. It will probably outperform the market by a large extent. Anyway, if you're interested in that article, it's not hidden behind any paywall. I'll leave the link in the description below. Currently, there's around a little over 1,000 views on that specific article itself. So if you think the analysis was helpful in understanding the business model and the different bear theses, do help me share it with your friends. So feel free to join the email list as well if you're interested in receiving such reports in the near future, as I'm currently working on a few more company deep dives in the coming months. And of course, as always, remember to help me like that smash button to help support the channel. Oh, and one more thing. Not sponsored by the way, but I know many of you out there probably have not maxed out all the available sign-up rewards. Currently, stockbrokers like Tiger, Moomoo, and even Weeboo have extremely aggressive sign-up campaigns that gives you essentially risk-free return. Where can you get something like that? Moomoo and Tiger Brokers is giving out cash coupons and even free shares, and if you're lucky, you can get a free Tesla stock. While Weeboo on the other hand is giving out $100 worth of Apple shares, and you shouldn't allow all these 100% ROI deals get away. I'll leave the link to all these brokerages in the description box down below. Now, let's get to what transpired for Meta stock. So for one, I don't think there was any news necessarily game-changing for Meta that was just made known to the public, but I think there were three specific quote-unquote revelations that probably shine some bad light on the company, and by translation, the stock price essentially tanked, and the market is essentially punishing Meta for it. So I'll start with the most benign one. So the Department of Justice just settled their lawsuit with Facebook yesterday over allegedly discriminatory housing advertising. So as a result, Meta will have to pay the maximum penalty under the Fair Housing Act of around $115,000 under the settlement, which would definitely be chump change for the company by the way. So I think the bigger context or implication here would be the boundaries of the so-called targeted advertising industry. So in this discriminatory housing instance, Meta targeted users with housing ads based on algorithms that relied partly on characteristics that are actually protected under the Fair Housing Act, like race, national origin, and sex. Sometimes being too good at your job will also be an issue. So I understand concerns of lawmakers and regulators on this specific issue. I think there should be better protocols put in place for sensitive segments like housing, education, and the list goes on. So Meta should pay and just move on. Moving forward, they should be a lot more sensitive on certain parts of the advertising offering. Secondly, Mark Zuckerberg actually went on screen to show off how much progress the company has made by revealing many of the unfinished headset prototypes it was built in its labs. So for starters, I think it's a good initiative to be transparent on the progress and development of the different products they're working on currently. However, I think the context of this product review matter. So I'll first play a short 90 seconds clip of Mark Zuckerberg essentially speaking about the developments thus far, and I'll be walking you through my thoughts as a Meta shareholder.
Today, I want to show you 4 VR research prototypes that we're working on to invent displays that are as vivid and realistic as the physical world, and much more advanced than traditional computer screens we use today. First, we need retinal resolution, and that means getting up towards about 60 pixels per degree. So we built Butterscotch. That's this prototype that lets you comfortably read the smallest letters on an eye chart. Second is focal depth. Normal monitors are a set distance away, so you just focus in one place. But in VR and AR, you need to be able to focus on things that are very close and very far from you. With varifocal and eye tracking tech, our halftone prototypes let you focus on any object at any distance. We also need to fix optical distortions in software so quickly that it's imperceptible to the human eye. Next is high dynamic range. Nature is often 10 or 100 times brighter than modern HD TVs, and the highest end monitors. And we need those colors to be just as vivid to feel realistic. So we built Starburst, the first HDR VR system that we know of. The goal is to fit all of these technologies into a device that is lighter and thinner than anything that currently exists. So we built HoloCake 2, a working experimental device using holographic displays that can already play PC VR experiences. Now there's still a long way to go, but I'm excited to bring all this tech to our products in the coming years.
Now, it's good to see that the founder, who's also still the CEO, being so excited about what the company is currently working on. So to his credit, I think other than Elon Musk, no other CEOs out there are as close to their products compared to the rest of the other big tech companies. However, here comes the context. So for the past few years, Meta has regularly shown its progress working on VR headsets and AR glasses to partners and the press to probably encourage investors to regard the project as something worthwhile to pursue and to help probably recruit highly paid developers and executives with experiences in VR and AR. They regularly show off unfinished prototypes for users in research, which is unusual in consumer electronics. And if we were to actually take references with other companies like Apple and Google, they will only unveil products that are close to completion, or for Apple's case, only when it's quote-unquote perfect. So as investors, I can understand why many are so skeptical, especially after committing at least $10 billion this year on R&D alone in the virtual reality and the augmented reality space. So I believe that it's actually an expectations and reality disparity where the bid to convince investors fell through the cracks. Most are probably not convinced that this $10 billion will be money well spent. So for those of you who are AR, VR or even metaverse nerds, I'll be leaving the link to a 30 minutes discussion between Mark Zuckerberg and Michael Abresh, who's Oculus' current chief scientist, down in the description below. So long story short, I probably only understand 20% of what they're talking about, which of course doesn't help if most of the investors can't comprehend the technicalities of the products itself. However, I would urge that many investors now are probably not even excited about their metaverse initiative, and most are just placing huge confidence on its core business. And I think this last point hits the final nail in the coffin. So Zuckerberg also recently announced that the company is rolling out more ways for creators to make money on both Instagram and also Facebook. However, they are going to keep many of such new initiatives like paid online events, fan subscriptions, badges, and some of its upcoming independent new products free for creators until 2024. So Meta had previously said that it was going to do so until only 2023. So they essentially extended it for another year. So on top of that, they are currently also going all out with an imitation war, where their marketplace for creators idea is eerily similar to TikTok's creator marketplace. Also, they are intending to launch an interoperable subscriptions to allow for paying subscribers on other platforms access to a subscriber-only Facebook group. So from a creator perspective, I'm actually excited by the competition between these various platforms. I think the creator economy still has much more room for growth and innovation. However, from a company's point of view, delaying monetization avenues is probably their attempt to kind of attract creators onto their platform, buy time to iterate a superior product, and just make yourself the go-to platform. But from an investor's point of view, this just means continued deterioration of the balance sheet, slower growth, compressed margins, increased expenses. And all of these said factors are all red flags. Another thing to note, if your core business is stronger than ever and you wish to throw $10 billion into a question mark first investment, I think investors would be a lot more forgiving. However, Meta's current core business is under heat, they are already fighting a war in their home turf, and this metaverse investment is just a double whammy. Now, Given the macro headwinds and the potential floating of a recession, if Meta's top line and bottom line is going to be revised downwards to a large extent, it's going to be a triple whammy. What do you think? Will they be able to allocate capital effectively? Leave in the comment section down below. I'll see you in the next video, but more importantly, I will see you on the moon. Goodbye!